Hey guys, back again. Today I'm going to be doing an automatic transmission fluid partial replacement in the Volt. I'm just going to document me doing it and hopefully it'll help you guys. So first of all, I'm going to show you the service manual and what it says to do. You're going to go ahead and run to the transmission fluid replacement. You're going to click this. It's going to take you to the page for the transmission fluid replacement. Two things to note. 1 and 2 on these diagrams are the drain bolt and the fill bolt. So the fill bolt's number 2 and the drain bolt's number 1. Just for a point of reference, on this, the part closest to the 2 on the diagram is actually going to be the front of the vehicle, and then the other side, which is where my mouse is on the bottom here, that's the back of the vehicle. So not much on the other page. Jack up the vehicle, shows you the fluid drain plug, and shows you the torque spec. Also, this note here about 7 to 7.4 quarts of fluid, that's if you were to drain the entire transmission. We're not doing that here, so don't worry about this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the transmission fluid level and condition check. Okay, so we're going to click on this. It's going to take us here. So now this page, what we're going to concern ourselves with is step 1. Let me go ahead and see if I can. Step 1, step 2. You need to open the hood. Make sure you do that. Start the vehicle. Step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, and that's it. I'm going to guide you guys through step 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because we're not doing a full flush, we're doing a partial, so this isn't exactly correct for what we're going to be doing. Alright, now get under the vehicle and jack it up. I am jacking up right under the suspension. This is the official jack point. This is where the suspension is. You actually see there's 2 bolts. I jack up right in the middle of that part right here. Then go ahead and place your jack stand under on the jacking point. And then go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Just like that. Make sure your parking brake's set, but it's never a bad idea to chalk off the back wheels as well. Alright, go ahead and get yourself a 10mm socket and whatever wrench you want to use. And we're going to be removing these 2 bolts right here, this one and this one. Now go ahead and unfasten the airbox. You'll take off this first clip. This second clip right here, it's underneath this coolant hose. And then you can just slide it out. Just like that. Okay, the last thing you're going to need to do is loosen this screw right here, which is on this engine covering. And this will allow you to take this tube off and then pull this covering off. Oops, one more thing to mention, you got to disconnect this clip right here and then you can take the covering off. Okay, just as we saw in the service manual, you can see that the fill bolt is right there in the middle. You're going to need a 19mm socket with an extension to get down in there and open up that bolt. It might be worth mentioning, you can also try and get a tool in on this side and get down into this slot right here to get that bolt loose. And once you get that bolt loose, what you're going to do is take a rag, take some alcohol, get some alcohol on that rag, just use it in the corner. Go ahead and take your rag, get it in there, and give it a nice wipe down around the bolt so that the surface is clean, where you're going to pour new automatic transmission fluid in. Also, if you have access to a vacuum, which can suck or blow, you might also want to get down in there with the vacuum and clean out that area right there. Blow out some of the contaminants or suck up some of the dirt, because you don't want that getting in your transmission when you're changing the fluid. Okay, the ATF I'm using is this Valvoline Max Life. I got a gallon. I didn't get enough, so that's why I'm doing a partial flush. I don't think I really need to do all that much. It has to be Dextron 6 rated, because that's the required ATF for the manual. Also, I figured I'd show you guys. This is the reason I'm doing the partial change. This is the transmission fluid that I drained partially from the transmission, just doing a checkup on the Volt.
and it's looking kind of dark. It's getting a little close to that burned color. It's still got a little bit of a red tint in there, but this is transmission fluid in mine after around 100,000 miles. I don't think it hasn't been changed once. For the actual filling, you're going to need ATF. You're going to need a long funnel that you can get down into those tight spaces in the engine bay, and you're going to need a container. I'm only putting about 4.5 quarts in, so make sure that your container can hold the same amount of liquid that you're putting in as you're pulling out. Before doing this, make sure your funnel's clean and clear of any water. I always go ahead and wash out my funnel, and to get the extra water out, other than just using paper towels to dry it, I like to run a little bit of the automatic transmission fluid that I'm going to be using, or any fluid, through it, and trying to wash away some of those little water droplets so that it's nothing but pure transmission fluid or whatever you're replacing before you go ahead and actually do the job. Okay, let's start draining. So the first thing you're going to want to do is loosen that bolt that you originally opened up. Make sure it's open. That way there won't be a vacuum created inside the transmission, so the fluid can flow easier. So go ahead and pull that bolt out, or at least loosen it up. Alright, so now as you enter the front of the vehicle, you're going to see the transmission is here. And if you keep going, you see there's a little bolt right here. That is where we're going to drain the transmission from, so make sure you get your pan and put it below. Also use some kind of floor protective covering, just in case any of this stuff spatters in other directions out of the pan. And then go ahead, we're going to loosen this up, and we're going to drain it. I'm going to drain it to about 4 quarts, because that's all I have to fill it with. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, now it's hand tight. Let's go ahead and drain. There she goes. Okay, so I've drained about 4 quarts. What I'm going to do here, there's multiple points of attack to that bolt that's open there. But I think the easiest is going to be through the back. As you can see, I can maneuver, and I can kind of push it to this left side here, towards the passenger side, and I can easily fill it from here while holding onto that. So I'm going to go ahead and fill 4 quarts now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the drained fluid and I'm going to pour it back into the original container and check the level of the container to make sure that I didn't add too much or take away too little, and then I'll go back and adjust it. Alright, as you can see, the bottle's not full. It held 4 quarts originally, and I only got a little more than 3, and even accounting for some loss, I still need to take some more out of the transmission, so I'm going to go do that now. Alright, once you get it at the proper level, cap it up and bring it to your local recycling center when time permits you. Don't forget to go ahead and clean up any fluid you may have spilled. Okay, so once you've done this fluid change, go ahead. The service manual tells you to do this procedure just to make sure that your transmission is running okay. So the procedure is going to be as follows. It's the same procedure from the service manual that we did at the beginning of the video before starting work. When you shift between all 3 of these, you're going to be feeling for any clunking or any transmission irregularities, any weird feelings in the car. If nothing is clunking and the transmission seems to be transitioning between each gear smoothly, you know that you didn't add too little fluid, so that's good, and that's probably a good indication that your change was successful. So go ahead and do that, and that's all I got. So hopefully this helped you guys and gave you some tips, or led you in the right direction if you're trying to do this yourself. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.